So after a discussion among the Delta Alliance members, it was decided that in order to combat the Vaadwaur, we need to unite as many local allies as possible. We've already brought in the Bentham Guard, a law enforcement agency, the Borg Cooperative, made from liberated former drones, and the Hierarchy, by proving our worth. We also purchased a contract with the Hazari mercenaries, convinced the Octanti to help, and maybe have the Touré on board too. But now we have a rather ambitious option to consider. Can we get the Kazon, the opportunistic pirates, scavengers and tribalistic warriors, on board? Because if not, then they're going to continue to be a nuisance to the less capable species in this quadrant. To this end, we're moving to join Captain Harry Kim of the USS Rhode Island, who has already arrived in the Primarch system to meet with a number of Kazon sects. We have representatives of the Ogla, Mistral, Pomar, Relora, and the Nistrim. The Nistrim in particular has had a rough history with Starfleet, as it hounded the USS Voyager on its historic journey for several years, intent on claiming the comparatively advanced vessel. Once in range, Captain Kim hails us.
Glad to see you. It seems the Kazon don't believe we have enough ships to stop the Vaadwaur. I keep telling them we'll have the numbers if we work together, but they keep insisting they need more information.
It sounds like you're nearing the end of your tether, Captain. We pull up alongside the diminutive Rhode Island. Hopefully the firepower of the USS Anglia will do well to illustrate the strength of the Alliance. We patch into the communications between the Kazon and Kim.
More ships! I demand to see more!
And how many is that? We're not going to bring the entire fleet here.
Our scouts have reported seeing Voyager in the Delta Quadrant again. We want to see that ship.
Right. You do know that that ship is, what now, 30 years or more out of date? I mean, it's had some work done, sure, but it's mostly just a flagship. Captain Kim?
Yes. I wonder... I'm going to try something. Things might get dicey if my suspicions are correct.
When are they ever not? Okay, we'll be ready.
Nellick, the USS Voyager is not available. If there is anything about it that you need to know, I can answer those questions. I was stationed on Voyager during its time here in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, that's true.
You were on Voyager? That's excellent news. If you're willing to vouch for your fleet's strength, Captain Kim, we are ready to join your alliance.
I don't get it. Voyager left this much of an impression. They are waiting for your go-ahead.
You're telling me... Wait a second. They just transmitted a coded signal. There's a ship just outside sensor range. Probably waiting for Voyager to arrive.
Yeah, I thought that was too easy. Yellow alert.
Ensign Harry Kim. Or is it Captain now? Finally got a promotion, I hope you enjoyed your life, Captain. It ends now.
Captain Kim, this man seems very much to want to kill you. Do you perhaps know why?
I don't know. You have me at a disadvantage. You know my name, but I don't know who you are. At least give me the courtesy of an introduction to the man who's going to kill me.
My name is Sessen, but that means nothing to you. You would have known my mother. You served with her on Voyager until your Captain Janeway's hatred and prejudice drove her into exile with the Kazon, where she was a brave and capable leader. Tell me, Captain Kim, do you ever think about what you did to Seska?
Seska? Then you must be... We didn't even know you were still alive, Sessen. Your father took you when he left Voyager.
Sessen goes on to explain that he now leads the Kazon Nistrim. So let's take an opportunity to look back on how this awkward situation unfolded. Back when the USS Voyager ended up in the Delta Quadrant, they started deep in Kazon space. Over time, a Cardassian spy that had been part of Chakotay's crew conspired with the Kazon Nistrim to hand over Voyager to the sect. Long story short, they almost succeeded, and during this the Cardassian Seska thought to impregnate herself with Commander Chakotay's DNA without his knowledge. However, the child she conceived was not Chakotay's, but in fact Maje Culler's, the leader of the dwindling Nistrim clan. Born in 2373, Sessen was taken back to the Nistrim by his father when Seska was killed. While he grew, Culler understandably told him of the evil Starfleet, and in particular the crew who killed his mother. Now at 38, the man has risen to command the Nistrim sect in place of his father, and using this opportunity to exact revenge on Voyager, or at least one of its former crew, he thinks he's lured us into an ambush. Thing is, Kazon culture is quite tribal and they have no unified government, so while it looks like the Nistrim has grown in that time, it's still only one faction of the Kazon, and the ties that bind the sects are ones of power and opportunity. So it's no surprise that while Maje Sessen and Captain Kim, let's call it, catch up, another sect's Maje hails us on a private line.
While Sessen and Captain Kim squabble over old hurts, I would like to make you an offer.
As long as you're not shooting, I'm listening. What did you have in mind?
My clan has taken over a new planet, but the climate is arid and water is in short supply. About 100 of your terraforming systems will change our prospects for the better. If you will provide them, I'll pledge the loyalty of the Kazon Relora to...
Okay, pause. So 100 terraforming systems for the Relora's cooperation as well as its allied ships. Well, that's no problem. We can generate those quite quickly using our ship's industrial replicators, though it will require a heavy investment of energy credits, a sort of non-personnel credit used to denote the resource allocations for a vessel or crew. But it's totally not money. However, making 100 terraforming units costs 100,000 credits out of my 260,000. That's a lot. But because I've never seen this outcome before, and I suspect there are many who also just didn't bother, I'll make the trade. For you guys. Oh, that's a lot of money. I mean, not money, credits.
While Sessen and Captain Kim squabble over old hurts, I would like to make you an offer. My clan has taken over a new planet, but the climate is arid and water is in short supply. About 100 of your terraforming systems will change our prospects for the better. If you will provide them, I'll pledge the loyalty of the Kazon Relora to you right now, as well as the ships of all the clans who are our allies.
100 terraformers, that's nothing. Of course you can. Here you go.
Thank you. The Kazon Relora will fight by your side.
Well, that's good news, because we may be calling on you sooner than you think. It seems Sessen and Kim's conversation has come to an abrupt end.
Shields up. Red alert. I knew Kazon would choose grudge. Not for this one.
An insane amount of fire suddenly fills the void as the Nistrim and its allied vessels attack the USS Rhode Island. However, thanks to our little under-the-table deal, the Relora, the Ogla and the Pomar do not engage us. Instead, they turn on the Nistrim and its allied vessels, swinging the odds heavily in our favour. During the aggressive negotiations, Maje Sessen warps out of the system, leaving his allies to hold us from further engagement. Clearly our demonstration of just what the Alliance is capable of has made him reconsider his stance. The smaller Kazon raiders are perhaps more powerful than they were 30 years ago, but that's still nowhere near enough to stand up to us.
I apologize for the deception. Maje Sessen holds a great deal of power over the rest of the Kazon clans. I hope my actions here will convince you that our desire to assist you against the Vaadwaur is sincere.
I think that's very wise. Captain Kim, can we trust him?
The Kazon are very factional. I can believe that Sessen strong-armed them into acting as they did. I would like to welcome the Kazon Ogla and the other allied Kazon to the Alliance.
Agreed, but first off, we still have to dot the I's and cross the T's of this diplomatic endeavour. That would be my way of saying they're still shooting at us. Alright, now the hostile Kazon are done, let's take stock.
Great work getting the Kazon Relora to join the Alliance. There's no way the Nistrim would join us. Sessen is obsessed with Voyager. I don't know what his father told him about us, but Seska was a thorn in our sides for most of our early time in the Delta Quadrant. She certainly wasn't the victim. She was the aggressor. It looks like her hatred of Voyager has been passed on to her son. I wish he could have had a better legacy. I'll return to Admiral Tuvok in the Alyan system. See you there.
Understood, Captain. I'll join you there. With that mission complete as best as possible, we set course to rendezvous with the fleet we've assembled.
Congratulations are in order. I did not expect us to bring together all of the races we approached on this mission. You were instrumental in our efforts today. Myself and the Alliance thank you for all the effort you have put into making this work.
Thank you, Admiral Tuvok. So we started this endeavour with the alpha powers of Starfleet, the Klingon Empire and the Romulan Republic, and only the Kobali and Benthans for support, but now we have a much larger contingency of ships around us. The mercenary Hazari have sent a liaison for the Delta Alliance in one of their smaller but nimble hunting ships, like a lone wolf. While above the USS Voyager squat 3 hierarchy battleships, their fish-like silhouettes, marking them as a committed force with our motley crew. While the Octanti too have sent a single vessel to administrate on their behalf. It sits a wary distance away from the biggest ship in our group, the imposing Borg Type 3 cooperative vessel. This humongous chungus of a ship has been seen once before by Starfleet, and back then it took a direct solar flare to destroy one, so they're nothing to be messed with. And the Touray too seem to have sent a delegation. Looks like they're taking us seriously. Not bad for a couple of days work, so we set off to call into command for our next mission. It's only the Kazon that haven't shown. Admiral Tuvok, meanwhile, will begin the monumental task of organising these species. After a short delay, Commander Burgess, our contact, informs us that he's read the reports and remarks how foolish of the Vaadwaur it is to allow history to repeat itself, as 926 years ago they were defeated by an alliance similar to this one. Even some of the species involved are the same. However, this mission does have one unexpected outcome. The hierarchy wish to place an operative on our vessel. Well, I guess if we have to. Setting my reservations aside, we welcome the potato into the crew and receive a hail from Lieutenant Commander Van Zyl.
The best chance we have at defeating the Vaadwaur is to build an alliance of all Delta Quadrant species. Some of them will need convincing. Go out there and show them that it's better to have us as a friend than an enemy.
What, you want me to destroy a couple of planets or something? I can also see that Admiral Tuvok has his hands full with negotiations, so his XO is relaying missions for us instead. Very well, if the Admiral thinks that some more coercion is needed, I guess we'll do our best. These few missions are all standard patrols, but have unique objectives. The first system we patrol is the Kelsid system. There are no habitable planets here, and the Benthan records indicate that there have been hostile ships sighted within 6 days of now. We enter the system to find a Talaxian weapons freighter has been attacked by the Vaadwaur.
Wonderful! Someone actually heard the distress call! Thank you for coming to help us!
You know the Benthans advised everyone to avoid this system, right?
Our convoy has a shipment of defense satellites for an installation in the Necrit Expanse. Unfortunately, one of our ships had some difficulty maintaining their warp field and had to stop to make repairs. We couldn't leave it behind. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, but a Vaadwaur scout ship detected us and offered to assist.
They don't usually lend a hand. You'd normally just be lucky to be ignored by them.
I was surprised myself, to be honest. Things were going well until Captain Belis mentioned that Vaadwaur was a Talaxilse word for foolish, and wondered why we would need their help.
And Captain Belis is a moron.
You're telling me the Vaadwaur scout was furious. He promised he'd be back shortly with a whole fleet of ships to put us Talaxians in our place.
Alright, let's see if we can get your repairs done.
Well, there's not enough time. We've already detected Vaadwaur warp signatures on approach. They'll be here soon. I have an idea. We have the defense satellites. We have no means of deploying them, but your ship could do it. You could transport them from our cargo holds and deploy them in a perimeter around the convoy. It should give us a fighting chance. What do you think?
Oh, it's not ideal, but it'll do.
Excellent. Now, because they were packed for storage, the satellites will take a little time to set up and deploy. but I think it's worth the risk.
So we beam over its inventory of satellites and set about deploying them.
We've marked good locations for you to deploy defense satellites.
We have a limited time now to deploy as many as we can, so some tight flying is needed to reach all the locations in time. Flying in an arc is probably best here to drop them in a perimeter.
Defense satellites have been hot commodities as of late.
The Talaxian continues to chatter as we attempt to prep our defences.
Between the Borg, Species 8472, the Voth, and the Vaadwaur, one can never be too safe.
Every satellite deployed is one more weapon on our side for the incoming onslaught, which is gonna be a biggie. First up, a patrol squadron arrives.
Look out! It's a Vaadwaur patrol!
They immediately attack the Talaxians, and we can continue to deploy more turrets until the time runs out. There are 3 sets of 8 turrets that can be deployed to fend off waves of aggressors. This mission can be brutal the longer it drags on, as more and more allied ships and turrets are lost to the Vads. This conflict unfortunately does rage on for a long time, and soon it's only the USS Anglia left fighting. Eventually the enemies are finally driven away. They brought enough ships to siege a planet. I wonder where they were heading before the Talaxians called for help. Never mind. Once the fight subsides, the freighter calls us again.
Thank you for deploying those satellites and saving us from the Vaadwaur. We wouldn't have had a chance without your help. The Vaadwaur aren't foolish after all. They're vindictive and powerful. I think we'll try to avoid them in the future.
Yes, that would be a very good idea. We continue our mission of relief to the next flagged hotspot, Zal 2 in the Alsuran sector. The Zal system is home to a major community who have prospered from all the interstellar trade that runs through their system. They've been assisting the Krenim, another species obliterated by the Vaadwaur, before we arrived in the Delta Quadrant, but here too we are receiving numerous distress calls.
Repeat, we are under attack by the Vaadwaur. Can anyone hear us? We need help.
I think we may have found where that fleet was heading. We can hear you, Governor. It's the Delta Alliance here.
Our status. The colony is under a brutal and unjustified attack. We're trying to evacuate, but the Vaadwaur have established a blockade. The ships and shuttles we had left to evacuate with are being taken out by heavy cannon fire. Innocent people are dying. Look, we won't last much longer. Please, help us.
Right, we're on our way.
Many thanks, and be careful. The Vaadwaur have set up heavy artillery cannons in orbit and are blasting anything that gets in range. Some of our ships are trying to break through the blockade. With your help, they might be able to make it. Hurry, those Vaadwaur butchers won't stop until there's no one left alive here.
Alright, how can we help? Tell us what to do.
We need a beacon. It'll provide a waypoint for our evacuating ships. Once they have an escape location, the convoy ships will need protection. Keep them safe long enough for them to get away.
The planet of Zal 2 is being evacuated in its entirety and already considered lost. We've warped into the centre of a major offensive from the Vaadwaur, and the only thing we can do is aid the fleeing vessels by providing them a safe escape route through the fleet of hostiles closing in on their home.
We're reading your beacon signal now. A few ships need repairs before they can escape the blockade. Our ships are about to break through. Please cover their escape.
Attention all ships. Voth forces have followed raider vessels to this system. This is now an active combat zone. Any ships that do not leave will be targeted.
Focus on the Vaadwaur. If they're gone, the Voth should leave.
Oh great, the Voth are here too, and they're firing on everyone.
Warning. Artillery incoming. Exit area immediately.
Sure enough, if we stay in one place too long, the Voth bombardments risk catching us in the crossfire. While the Voth are not fighting the escaping citizens of Khal, their actions are endangering our rescue operation. However, they are keeping the Vaadwaur busy, as the 2 Delta Quadrant powers trade mighty blows. We can pick off the Vaadwaur vessels that are too close to the stranded Krenim and Khal vessels, but we have to be careful not to draw the attention of the Voth, so no scatter torpedoes nor fire at will here. We'll have to carefully select our targets. Our priority though has to be the damaged refugee vessels. like I said, the planet is already lost to the Vaadwaur, so retaking it is not an option, only helping these people flee before they're shot down. However, some vessels will not flee until nearby hostilities have ceased or moved on, so sometimes we'll have to speed things up a little.
Thanks for the assist. Leaving the war zone.
Warning. Artillery incoming. Exit area immediately.
Thank you. We can make it.
That's all of the stragglers. If you rejoin the fleet, we can make our escape.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me twice, we're bugging out. I can't tell if we've rescued everyone, but we can't stay here. The Krenim and the Khal evacuees need an escort out of the system. The longer we linger, the higher the chance that the Vaadwaur raising the planet will turn around. We speed over the rings, joining the myriad of other smaller vessels as they flee their burning home. But just as I feared, another Vaadwaur fleet emerges from warp.
Please, protect our fleet so we can escape.
Just as with the repairs, the goal here is to protect the evacuating ships, not destroy all the Vaadwaur, so we'll only hold out as long as we need to. Nevertheless, let's see if we can take some of these bastards out.
You're a real lifesaver. Our evacuation ships are safely on their way. We even managed to get away with some critical supplies. Thank you.
Good luck, Governor. Safe travels.
Once we regroup, I'll send scout ships back to look for any stragglers. Perhaps one day we'll retake our colony. But for today, I'm just glad my people are alive.
Yeah, me too, but I'm going to have to close the comm now. Look me up if I survive this. Oh well. With nothing else keeping us here, we warp out too. Well, that was a wake-up slap. We've seen the Vaadwaur attack the Kabali for months at a time, but that siege wasn't with an aim to destroy them. This was a whole nother scale. To see our enemies' ruthlessness as they just razed a staple planet of interstellar trade. We helped out as best we could for passers-by, so now we have one final stop in our patrols, the Farn system. The Farn system has been turned into a Borg cooperative stronghold since 2373, and as such is now an allied system. I'd wonder what the Borg need help with, but I think I know the answer. There are several disabled Borg ships, a cube and a sphere, so let's move to investigate. It's not often we approach a planet from above the galactic plane.
Thank you for responding to our distress signal. We were unsure that it would reach anyone in time. I am James Hunt of the Borg Cooperative. We are in need of assistance.
Captain Hale of the Anglia, how can we help you?
The local star is unstable. It periodically emits solar flares. We were struck by one, and many of our systems were disabled as well. Before that, we detected Vaadwaur strike teams in the area. They may see our vulnerable state and take advantage of the situation. If you can assist us with repairs, we will be able to defend ourselves.
This is Traken of the Vaadwaur. The Borg are defenseless. In the interest of interstellar diplomacy, I'm giving you the opportunity to disengage. Leave this system at once. We will deal with the Borg ourselves. Fair warning, if you remain, we will deal with you as well.
And just when I was beginning to think it was something else.
Ah, so you're an idiot then. Pathetic. I'll try to make this brief. Painful, but brief.
Oh, shut the comms on them.
If you repair the damage on our vessels, we will be able to work together against the Vaadwaur.
By transferring power to the cubes, we can trigger their extensive regeneration effects, and the cooperative ships will lend their firepower to the incoming attack.
The solar flares overload shields. We have adapted, but they will affect everyone else.
Nice of you to warn me! God, so we'll need to keep a shield replenishment ability on standby to raise them after the solar flare takes them down. All throughout this encounter, in which we fend off the Vaadwaur's assault, the Sun's activity routinely takes down all the shields except the Borg's, so it's both an opportunity and a weakness. As long as we can raise them quickly enough afterwards, we should be fine. But this cannot be good for the emitters. Engineer Scavering's gonna have words with me later. Ooh, that's a good idea. We just got a brand new ship. Let's fly into the sun, you bloody Kirk fanboy.
You would join forces with these creatures? Disgusting.
Clearly, the Vaadwaur have no idea that the cooperative is disengaged from the collective. Or they just don't care. The conflict continues, and our systems take a frying from the solar radiation, and we'll have to get medical to administer treatments after this. When the last Vaadwaur falls to our alliance, James Hunt of the cooperative hails us.
Rear shields failing. Right shields failing. Hull integrity below 25%.
Slightly cooked, methinks.
We are grateful for your assistance. We will set a course beyond the range of these solar emissions and conduct final repairs.
Yeah, you're not the only one. We'll always help our allies.
Long-range scans are clear of the Vaadwaur, and the local star appears to have calmed. We are in need of no further assistance.
Oh yeah, of course. Now it's fine. We've done much today to help a lot of people. We've also spread the influence of the Delta Alliance to several others, helped out allied powers, and managed to earn some goodwill from the other races. The Vaadwaur are only growing in their boldness and aggression, it seems. When we first arrived here, in the Delta Quadrant, the Vaadwaur were a mostly unknown quantity, with even people like Neelix unaware of their return in full. They drove back Borg incursions and nobody cared. Well, why would they? Someone pushed back the Borg, that's fine. Then they quietly took out the Krenim Imperium, but nobody knew who did it. Then they sieged the Kabali, but their reclusive nature kept that conflict out of most species' public eye. Then they announced themselves when they sieged the Turay, although the Voth seemed aware of the threat already. Ever since our inclusion into the mix, the Vaadwaur have upped their game, no longer striking in the night but launching all-out assaults on worlds like Karl, utterly razing it and forcing a mass evacuation. They've been plundering convoys and looking for opportunities to hit the other powers, all of them, in the Quadrant, and I've no doubt they would have done this anyway, but I can't help but wonder how much of their current ferocity is in response to the formation of this alliance. Their leader, Gaul, would say it was all our fault. So that probably means we're doing something right. Someone has to stop him. Thank you for watching this episode of the story series, and I hope to see you back for the next mission as we continue to delve into the ever-expanding storyline of Star Trek Online. Thanks again for watching. I've been Rick, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.